move on to our next speaker. It's going to be Representative Teresa Tanzi. She is a representative of Narragansett, Kingstown, and Wakefield. She's actually a member of the House Finance and House Small Business Committees, so she's a leader in ensuring that economic development in Rhode Island strengthens our economy and benefits all the people who live here. So I give it to you, Teresa. Thank you.
One quick correction to my bio. I am no longer on those committees because I'm very proud of this. I stood up against the speaker and very happy to say I am now on special ledge. We deal in license plates and naming of bridges and roads. So if you have any of those issues, talk to me. I can handle those things. So, no, that was a perfect opportunity to give an introduction. So I represent Narragansett and South Kingstown, the Peacedale and Wakefield portions of it, and I am actually one of the few elected officials who, at the time offshore wind was being proposed, that I was fully supportive. I was so invested in it, I put it on my buttons and pins and my logo, and then of course the residents started with a major NIMBY. Not in my backyard, we don't want that cable coming in, landing on our town beach, and on and on. But you know, it was a fight worth having, and it was a conversation worth engaging in. And I have to say, one of the best parts about all of that was a little over a year ago, I had one of the most ardent opponents to this, someone who actually put his own money into hiring lawyers to fight this from happening, came up to me and said, "You were right about wind energy, Teresa." And in this business, that just definitely does not happen that often. So I will savor that, and he is now a friend for life of mine. So I have been in the General Assembly now for 10 years, and I look at our teeny tiny state and I think exactly what you guys are thinking. We are ready to embrace some kind of a revolution. It's time for that next thing to happen in our state. And I, of course, wasn't thinking as large a scale as you all were, but I'm glad that the Progressive Democrats have undertaken this project, and I cannot wait to follow it and then support it when it comes out in August. But, you know, it really, our size is to our benefit. We have the opportunity to be the first state that has zero range anxiety. I had an electric car, all-electric car, about 5 years ago, and it was really difficult. You know, the state had their plug-in and their charging stations, and I would get there and they would all be full, or the gate for some reason wouldn't open that night, and then I'd have to worry about getting myself home at 11 o'clock at night. So, you know, I myself experienced it, and I was dedicated to, you know, having an all-electric car, and I can't imagine someone who is not as dedicated being willing to make sacrifices. And I know that people shouldn't have to make sacrifices, that there are ways for us as a state where we could, you know, make it part of our building, our zoning, laws and regulations, that if you are doing X project, you have to provide infrastructure for recharging and charging stations. One of the things that I love about this project is the idea of local, about keeping people who are, you know, living here and working here a part of it and part of the beneficiaries of it. And that to me just means, like when we had that exercise earlier where we closed our eyes, and you know, to me that just means more security. It means more independence. I had another car that was run on 100% biodiesel, and to me that was the greatest sense of freedom. You know, back probably 15 years ago, I had a diesel car, and Newport Biodiesel would deliver to my house, and I would crank out the biodiesel right out of my own backyard into my car, and it gave me that sense of not needing to worry about what was happening overseas, not needing to worry about you know, what international crises were taking place that we have no control over. So I just absolutely love the idea of that independence and cutting those ties. And I represent a coastal community that's already experiencing difficulties. We have Matunuck that at any point in time a storm could come in and take out the one road that leads to where thousands of people reside. It could take out all water, all electricity, the sewer, everything that, you know, serves those individuals. So it is something that people, you know, in my community live with on a daily basis. So, you know, the question I was asked was how will providing clean energy benefit my constituents? I think at this point, Matunuck is going to, you know, have to look for a bridge as opposed to just relying on the land. But, you know, we need to think about building resilient communities, and, you know, without committing to something like this, it all seems undoable. But I think with 1 million people behind us, we have that great opportunity to do so. And honestly, yes, the state should be leading more. We have so much riding on this. We have an entire brand based on our beaches, on our shellfishing. I mean, so much of our economy and our brand relies upon the endless coasts that we have, coastal area that we have. And it's just incredibly short-sighted if we fail to protect our best asset. So I think that was 5 minutes. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all tonight and look forward to seeing what more comes out of this project. So thank you.
Thank you, that was great. I definitely agree with you. The benefits of this kind of plan, it's the economy, but the economy is also tied to our own enjoyment of the state, because while we do have a big tourism industry, yes, it also is part of how we enjoy our own summers here with clean beaches and breathable air without asthma.